So are you on the verge of giving up or breaking through? That is the question for today's chat today. It's one of those things where, especially in summer, I don't know if you guys feel this. I have definitely felt this many different summers, is when you dive into summer, you're seeing a lot of people living the lifestyle that you may want. Diving into going on vacation, having a lot of fun, taking time off. And July is definitely a month for that. But something that I really want to bring to your attention is when you're comparing yourself to other people and their adventures, their lifestyle, their journey, you can really be able to ask yourself, right, this question right here. Are you on the verge of giving up or are you on the verge of breakthrough? A lot of us could sit there spinning our wheels, figuring out, okay, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go in order to get to the destination that we're after? Whether it's impact, income, being able to provide for your family, get this new concept, idea, product out there, whatever that may be for you. And so many of us can get so frustrated that it's not happening in the timing that we want. And so that's really what I want to focus on today, because whether you're listening to this, you're like, I have been there, I am there, I'm on the verge of being there. It's really important to be able to discover these these three things that I have to really be able to support you in your journey as an entrepreneur, or maybe you are more of like a 9-to-5 worker, wherever you're at. This will definitely really be able to support you, because at the end of the day, I love using social media as a tool. I love using it as a tool to inspire, motivate, get people focused into the right direction. And that's what you get when you come to my page. You could see all the interviews I do with amazing influencers, amazing people that are providing great services, to just the wisdom that I love to be able to share, because you can use this tool, social media, this tool as something for good if you choose to. So I have three things for you. So number one, this really isn't the first one. It's more of like kind of a let's ground ourselves and check ourselves here. Summertime, like I mentioned, summertime is a time where a lot of people will sit there and compare. This person's going on this vacation. They're living this life. They're having this much fun. But when was the last time you asked that person that you follow, what did you have to do to get there? What do you do in your off time? How do you mentally prepare yourself? How do you push through the hard times? The summer season can really bring that out of people of comparison, because you want so badly to have whatever lifestyle that you're after, that no matter where you're at in your journey, it can cause you to really shake your belief a little bit if you don't do these three things. So number one, focus, refocus, and focus again as many times as you need to. Focus, refocus, and focus again as many times as you need to. There's so many times that we do hop on social media, or we do see friends and family or people that we love to follow or love to connect with that have certain things that we want. And again, when was the last time you asked that person that you follow, that you admire, that you love the lifestyle, the life that they created? When's the last time you asked them, what did you do to get there? So that may cause a lot of bravery. That may push you into a really courageous situation of like, okay, if I'm going to ask this person, what did they do to get to where I want to be and where they are right now? That can cause you to really be able to think, okay, if I ask this person, what did you do to get there? Are you willing? I hope you're listening to this. Are you willing to put in the work, to put in the time, to put in the years possibly that it's going to take for you to get to the destination that you want? That was how I started my stint on social media, really being able to give back and to serve at a higher level. Is there was a woman that I follow still to this day, and I'm like, what did she do to get there? What did she do to get there? And I would follow her every move and have to reverse engineer of like, what people is she hanging around? What is she doing in her off time? What masterminds or courses or education is she pouring into in order to become her best self? Because there are the people that have what you want, chances are they've been told no more. They've been through more ups and downs than you. They've invested more time, resources into certain things in order to grow. So the first thing again is focus and refocus as many times as you need, because there's going to be a lot of instances where your boat's going to get rocked, and it's going to test you as to, are you really in it? Do you really want it? How bad do you want it, even when times get tough? And times get tough. That phrase right there means something different for everybody. It could mean you're not making the money that you want. It could mean you're not reaching the people that you want. There's reasons for that. But as you guys know, coming to my profile, I'm a huge believer, huge person of faith, and God has you exactly where He wants you. He has you exactly where He wants you. He's going to allow you to steer the boat in your life and allow you make decisions and make choices. And are we making that out of impatience? Are we making that out of obedience? Like, how are we making those decisions to get you to where you want to go? So focus and refocus as many times as you need, because there will be things that creep in that are going to cause you to question and like, am I really in it? Do I really want to do this? Number 2, how are you spending your downtime? How are you spending your downtime? This is something that I really, in the last, I would say last year or two, just even outside of the pandemic, I had to ask myself, how am I spending my downtime? Am I spending it watching my favorite show? Am I spending it, writing the book that I want to write? Am I spending it pouring into me to fill my cup up? Am I spending it pouring into other people? No matter what you're doing, whether you have a 9-to-5 or you're an entrepreneur or whatever it is that you do, you got to ask yourself, how are you spending your downtime? And is that time being well spent? How are you spending your downtime, and is that time being well spent? I like to look at the downtime as a time to pour back into me. What I get to do for a living is I get to pour into other people all day long. I get to empty my cup. But you are your first responsibility at the end of the day. If you don't take care of you, it's nobody else's responsibility to take care of you. You get to take care of you first. So how are you spending your downtime? I got a ton of books behind me. Are you reading? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you having time of reflection, which is really, really huge? Just to stop on that for a moment. So many times we move so quickly and ideas change, things shift all the time. That's life, right? But are you reflecting on how far have you come? Are you where you need to be right at this point in time? And if not, why? What can you do to be able to either be patient for what you're going for, or what can you do to shift to be more efficient? I actually put on my story earlier today that one of the questions I ask myself is, how can I increase my personal efficiency daily? How can I increase my personal efficiency daily? And I've talked about this quite a few times, because a lot of people, again, with the question we have today, are you on the verge of giving up or breakthrough? One of the things that you have to do is really be able to sit in there with personal efficiency, sit and be like, okay, am I executing the most efficient way possible? Am I doing my calls? Am I doing my work? Am I maximizing the hours that I am the most alert, focused, and awake? A lot of people have that, 2:30 feeling, right? That 2:30 feeling in the middle of the day where you're like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. I definitely get that feeling. So knowing that, and knowing I get to set my own schedule, I make sure I get the most important parts of my day done before 2 p.m. So after 2 p.m., it's a little miscellaneous things, pick it up here and there, but I am super hyper focused from till about noon. And then from like noon to 2, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get some stuff done, but I'm not as efficient, to be honest with you, because I know that I have that personal awareness of where my efficiency is. So how I get to spend my downtime outside of that is really being able to pour into me. Number 1, during my day, make sure I'm efficient in the hours that I am most productive. Boom, figure out what those are for you. For me, it's before 2 p.m. For my husband, for example, from like 10 o'clock, 11 p.m. to like 3 a.m., those are his efficient hours. Everybody has something different, but you get to ask yourself, what is that for me? But the downtime piece is something that's hard, because a lot of us, want to watch a show. We want to maybe take a nap or whatever it is that you want to do. I look at it as, how can I make myself better? How can I grow in areas that I don't have time during the day to grow, or maybe don't have time on the weekends? Read a book, dive into, the word, dive into my Bible, dive into a devotion, dive into fellowship with other people. I think a lot of us sleep on that, because we're so busy wanting to create a life for ourselves that we forget that in order to create that fulfilling life, that takes other people. That takes other people to really be able to come in, support you, love on you, give you another perspective that maybe you haven't thought of earlier. Community is so, so, so important. So the second question is, how are you spending your downtime? How are you spending your downtime? Yes, absolutely. Straight talk, no sugar added. I love that. Self-care is super important. You need to do that more. Absolutely. We live in a society where it's like, pour into other people, do this, do that, go, 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 hustle, grind, hustle, grind. The older I get, the more I don't really actually like the word hustle. The more I actually think that's kind of a toxic mentality, because hustling is a mentality that is just like grind, no sleep, go get it at all costs. And there's a time and a place for that, but you also have to be able to pour back into yourself and be like, okay, what do I need for me? In order for me to be able to be self-sustaining, in order for me to be able to have my cup filled along the way, because you don't want to be completely depleted and have to build that back up again. So again, in your downtime, in those pockets of time you have, whether it's 20 minutes, an hour, or a couple hours, time before you go to sleep, whatever that may be, how are you pouring into yourself in order for you to be able to reflect on the day, shake off the old, bring in the new, and really be able to reset yourself? So the two questions we've gone over so far for you to ask yourself, number one, or more, the first one's a statement really, focus and refocus as many times as you need. Focus and refocus as many times as you need. Number two, how are you spending your downtime? How are you spending the time outside of work, outside of pouring into others? How are you spending that time to be able to really refuel, recharge? Just like hashtag Jeep Girl says, you can't pour an empty cup. Absolutely. Nothing comes out of that empty cup, and you are your first responsibility at the end of the day. You get to fill that cup up in whatever way and whatever means necessary. And the third one, support. Ask for support. Get support. Seek that guidance. Seek that community. Get that fellowship, whatever that looks like for you. The support piece is funny because I believe that in the human mind, it's like, okay, we got this. We hear self-made, we got this, hustle, grind, get yours, really be able to focus on yourself. I really do believe that that's a lie that we tell ourselves. I can't say all the time, I'd say sometimes. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's okay to ask for support. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get into community, to be able to pull from other people when you need it. We need that. Our human nature absolutely needs that. Absolutely. Support isn't a weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. The most successful people in the world had community, had groups, had a tribe around them. They never truly did it on their own. Now, there may be times where you might feel alone, but is that actually fact? No, it's not fact. Because there's always people around you, one, two, an abundance of people that can really be there to support you. And the online space is great for that. You go on Facebook, for example, there are so many different support groups and groups that you can get into that can really just pour into who you are, whether it's business, whether it's faith, whether it's personal interests, all the above. There's so many places that you can go in order to get poured into, but you have to ask yourself, what am I doing to put myself out there? Am I willing to go into a group full of strangers? Am I willing to maybe go to church and be poured into? Am I willing to reach out to people in my life to have them support me? Because here's a word that most people don't like to talk about: vulnerability. Being vulnerable to say, hey, you know what? I need support. I need assistance in this. I'm going through a hard time, or I'm going through a situation, and do you have any wisdom or guidance for me? And what's beautiful about that, and again, you guys know I'm a big person of faith, is that when you ask for wisdom and you ask for things, the Holy Spirit wants to give that to you. And He may flow the words that you need to hear through other people. And I can personally say that has happened to me so many different times where I bring up a situation I'm going through and I bring it up, not even thinking about it. And the people that I'm talking to in that moment are pouring into me and I didn't even ask for it. Why? Because I'm a firm believer that the Holy Spirit is flowing through them. They're sharing with me exactly what I need to hear at the time I need to hear it. But you'll never get that if you don't put yourself out there and risk being vulnerable. I know it's a scary thing, and maybe you've been burned before. I've been burned so many times, but being able to really find the right people that you can trust, that you can share things with in confidence, and, just seeking the wisdom. Because as much as we'd love to do it ourselves, as much as we'd be like, I got this, it's on me, I'm good to go, we're not meant to do life alone. We're not meant to do life alone. So the question, again, before we wrap this up is, are you on the verge of giving up, or are you on the verge of breakthrough? On the verge of giving up, maybe you're feeling right now like, oh my gosh, I've been putting in the work, I've been doing the things, whether it's in a relationship, in business, personal, whatever, and you're just kind of fed up. Well, the thing is these kind of coincide with each other. Giving up breakthrough is a lot of people want to give up right before they have the breakthrough. You want to give up right before they have the breakthrough. You've probably seen this meme floating around where you have two different pictures, a top and a bottom, and it's this guy that is going towards this diamond, and he's digging through the earth trying to go towards this diamond. One person is still digging, the other person has given up and walk away, but they're both within inches of finding the diamond, finding the breakthrough. And are you that person that's going to give up and walk away because you're fed up and you're tired and you're like, I'm over this? Or are you that person that's going to keep pushing through because what you want right now is worth every moment of the ups and the downs? Because you're going to get tested. You're going to get tested, and you won't know true success and how good that feels without the pain and the probably the impatience of things, of not getting it when you want. And honestly, I'm speaking to myself here. Like, patience is something I definitely am working on absolutely daily, because there's certain statements and things that pop up in my mind. Why aren't you here yet? Why don't you have X? Well, why are we talking about that? Because you're exactly where you need to be right now. And you're doing, hopefully, and only you know this, exactly what you need to do in order to get what you're after. And so seeking the wisdom, seeking the community, and again, these 3 things that we went over, focus and refocus as many times as you need to in order to stay on course. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to try to push you off, but focus and refocus as many times as you need to. Number 2, how are you spending your off time? Are you just sinking into your TV show and getting lost in somebody else's life and story? Or are you pouring in to fill your cup up when you likely are emptying out your cup every day on other people? Be responsible for your own cup. Find ways to fill your cup up. Whether, for me, it's definitely diving into the Word, diving into the Bible, good personal development books, podcasts, getting into community. And the community piece is the last thing is getting support. So the 3rd thing is getting support, whether it's getting into a community, reaching out to family and friends, connecting with people on a vulnerable level, so you can allow those people to come in and to really support you the way you need to. So if you're feeling like, you know what, I'm just ready to give up, I am so over this, chances are you're really close. You're close to where you want to be, and you got to keep putting in the work until you see the result. Until you see the result. Don't give up because you're tired. Keep going until you see the result, and that will build so much courage, so much strength, so much resilience for you to quite literally get through anything. So many of us give up way too soon that we don't ever get to the breakthrough because we feel like, oh, we should have had this by now. Well, feelings necessarily are not necessarily good, because how we feel in that moment likely isn't fact. And those feelings will come into play because we're definitely a generation of where we get into our feels, and that can be a good thing for some things, but you really need to ask yourself, with the support piece, like, who am I reaching out to? Who am I connecting to in order to support me throughout this journey? Because you're not meant to do it alone. You're not meant to do it alone. And so I appreciate each and every one of you who hopped on live that are watching the recording. Definitely drop your thoughts below as to what really stood out to you. You know, was it how am I spending my downtime, the support that I needed, or maybe the focus and refocusing piece? Because there's so many different pieces that are going to try to knock us off the path that we're on. But you have the power to keep going and to keep pursuing what you're pursuing right now, whatever that may be, in order for you to get that result. Don't give up because you're tired, because you're weary. That 3rd piece, that support, is going to be able to get you that strength that you need, and just to keep going and to get the way you're after. So love each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys are having a tremendous week. Drop below what you're learning. Share this on your story. Tag me in it. I love to see where this goes, just to really be able to have these words bless other people. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.